All right, everybody, thanks for joining us today for our first official post-game presser. As always, please use the raise hand function if you have a question, and please limit it to one question per person at a time. We'll start off with Jonathan.
Hi, Coach. Thank you so much for your time. Jonathan Kaminga was a standout performer for the young guys. Even at times, Jonathan looked like a man amongst boys. How impressed were you with his performance today?
I wasn't impressed because I see it every day in practice, and I've been with him since August 28th, I think, when we got started. So it's what I expect. It's what I see every day. We've talked about it before, the physicality that he plays with, being able to play, at three levels from the three-point line, posting up, taking the ball strong to the basket, finishing through contact, and then the effort that he gives on defense. And, it was evidenced by that last play of the game when I think it was Jordan Poole or somebody drove to the basket and he went up and got a nice timely block at the end of the game. So he does a lot of things for us. He's a very talented player. You guys are just seeing the beginning of what he can do.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Question from Jordan.
Hey, Coach. Can you just talk a little bit about, Jared Jack tonight? 23 points, 9 for 10 from the field, 3 for 3. Him being in the league and the experience he brings, but also, what he helps for a guy like Nix. Nix came in the game, immediately made an impact. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's the beauty of our program. Having these young guys and having these hand-selected veterans to be at their side. And, as good as his stats were, the biggest part of what he did for us today was his communication skills out there on the floor. And with young guys, a lot of times they get caught up kind of, going 100 miles an hour, trying to do things too fast. But he's always that settling influence for us when things kind of get out of whack. And, that's why I put him in to finish the game for us. Like I said, we obviously want to try to win every game that we step on the floor. But for us, it's not really about winning and losing. It's about giving these young guys that experience that they need. And so they got that. And a couple of our young guys had a rougher outing tonight. But they'll bounce back. But, getting back to Jared, he's been great since he's been here with us. Obviously he has a track record. He's proven he the same thing that he did tonight, he's done in his career in the NBA. And so I'm just happy to have him with our young guys, like I said, being a steadying force for them both on the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball.
We'll go to Cody with the next question.
Dacian, we know, has been known to be a playmaker throughout his journey to this point. How do you think he played in that role, running the offense, and what were some of your initial impressions from him today?
Yeah, I thought he was great. When he came in with that second unit with Jared Jack. I'm still, as a coach, trying to find the best combinations, to have the guys out there on the floor. But, once he checked in the game, the defensive intensity immediately picked up. We were able to get some turnovers, get some clean defensive rebounds, and get out in transition. And then you saw him in, the aggressiveness that he played with once he got in the game, taking the ball strong to the basket. When the defense collapsed on him, he made the right plays, found our shooters in the corners. And, and that's what he can do. That's what he brings to the table. And so, pairing him with Jared, I do that intentionally so that Jared can talk him through situations when they're out there on the floor. And then they can kind of play off of one another. We start in action with one of them on the other side of the court and there's nothing there, and we swing it to the other side. We got another point guard that can make a play on the other side. And so Dacian just makes winning plays. At the end of the day, you may look at the stat sheet and it may look regular, but what he does out there on the floor, I recognize it. It's a lot of the intangible things, and he's just going to get better and better.
Question from Dakota.
Hey, Coach. Despite the win, I noticed that the young prospects had their struggles with closing out and moving over and under screens. Is that something? Is that going to be one of the areas that you're going to be trying to have these young players approve upon over the course of the next few weeks?
Definitely. I mean, in their defense, we haven't had a ton of time to really have a lot of 5-on-5 action scrimmages, in practice against one another because we rarely had 10 players, available for us to have a full practice. But, I definitely expect for us to get better in that area. I expected it to be a struggle at times. We got caught early in the game, kind of ball watching. And then by the time we turned around and identified where our man was, they were, penetrating our defense, causing us to have to react instead of initiating the action ourselves. But we'll look at film and continue to teach, and they'll have to learn through experience of how to negotiate through those type of situations. And we're going to take our lumps along the way, but as long as we learn from the mistakes we make and we get better at it. And I thought tonight we started out not so good on the defensive end, and then as the game got going, and we got used to the physicality and the speed of play, our guys picked it up. And at the end of the day, I mean, these guys are just out of high school. The guys that they were playing against are guys that were three of them or two of them are guys that were on the Warriors team at the beginning of the season. They came down to play in Mannion and Jordan Poole. So they're not any slouches out there that they're playing against. Those guys have a little bit more experience, but our guys are going to learn get their experience through having that time out there on the floor.
We'll go to Brian with the next question.
Yeah, hey, Coach, can you talk about the pressure that on you and the players, being that this is the Pathway program, the sort of first of its kind for you guys? What's that like?
There's no pressure at all. I mean, really when it comes down to it, like basketball is a game. We have a loose environment around here. We try to play with joy and have fun when we're out there on the court, but with the understanding that, this is our job and this is also our lifestyle. That they chose this path. And, at the end of the day, other guys took other routes, right? Some guys went to college, some guys went overseas to play. Our guys chose to come through this. And I think that they're playing against the best competition if you compare it to the other routes that the other options that the other guys took. And so, I'm trying to keep them loose and get them, and make them understand that, this is all a process and they've had fun and competed playing this game, and it's no different at this level. We're going to have our ups and downs. We don't want to get too high. We don't want to get too low. But like I said, just continue to learn. And, for me, like I said, there's no pressure at all. I enjoy the teaching aspect of it, the development part of it. And so, we're just going to tackle it head on and cross whatever bridge we have to cross when we get to it.
Got time for a couple more questions. We'll go to Jason next.
Hey, Brian, you mentioned it briefly a couple responses ago, but overall, what were your impressions of the young guys? You hear young players often say, like, their first NBA game, they have nerves, even though they know they should be there. Your young guys that go up against, Nico, Jeremy Lin, who has a lot of NBA experience, and obviously Jordan Poole, who's played a full season. I had a good game, his last game with the Warriors this year. Did you notice any nerves? How do you think they did in their first time on a nationally televised game against NBA talent?
Yeah, I think, naturally they had some butterflies, when the game started. And I think we saw that by how we were reactionary, in that first quarter when the game started. But I thought that, like, as I said, as the game went on, I thought that we figured it out. And then we started to catch up to the speed of the game. We started to catch up to the physicality. We started to hone in a little bit more on the personnel. At this level, especially playing a team like the Santa Cruz Warriors, they mimic the actions of their parent team, the Golden State Warriors, where there's a lot of ball movement and cutting. They played 5 out. I don't know if they made an entry pass to the post at all to a big, in terms of playing traditional basketball. And so, like I said, there was definitely butterflies at the beginning of the game, but these guys have felt the energy around this team since we got here, with the cameras that are following around, with the attention that they've gotten from being, this unique team that's in, 17 other G League teams, and we're not really a G League team. We're this pathway program team, and so it's different, and they recognize that. But they've had targets on their back, and they've been, they've had guys coming for them based on their rankings up to this point. So it's just something that they're gonna have to play through and be ready for.
Question from Chris.
Hi, Coach. What did you think of Jalen Green's game in particular today?
Jalen, I thought he pressed a little bit. He was trying too hard. Which is natural. And I tell you this, all the teams, just from being here the last nine or 10 days, and having conversations with players on other teams as well as coaches from other teams, everybody is gunning for him because of the attention that he's gotten. And so, like I said, I just want him to have fun and play the game. And he's competitive, and he'll figure it out. And I fully expect for him to bounce back from today's game and have a better game, the next game. But he struggled a little bit today, just kind of over penetrating. We talk, within our team about there's a rhythm to the offense and taking what the defense gives you. And I thought he had opportunities to take easier shots today, but he was trying to get something better than what the defense was giving him, and he was getting himself in tough situations, offensively. And then defensively, he was caught kind of ball watching a little bit, early on the game. But we'll watch film and he'll see, those situations that he was in, and he'll get better at it. And like we talked about with Kuminga earlier. Nothing is really going to surprise me. There's going to be times when all these young guys are going to struggle, and there's going to be times when they play extremely well. I've seen it, up to this point. So, like I said, I fully expect for him to play a lot better than what he did today.
We'll go to Amit for the final question.
Hey, Coach, I noticed that Principal from India didn't play at all today. I was just wondering whether there was an injury issue or whether he's just not ready yet, or was it like a tactical decision?
No, it was completely my call. I didn't feel like in today's game, there was a situation that I could really get him in the game. Neither him nor Jesse Govan played for us today. That's a coach's decision. I have a rotation. When there's opportunities for me to get him in the game, I will. But I thought the way with Golden State kind of being basically having one big and four small guys that were all perimeter players, it was going to be a tough matchup for him today. And so he just didn't get an opportunity to get in today.
Great. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, everybody, we've got Jonathan Kuminga here. It looks like everybody's got their hand raised. Again, please limit it to one question per person. We will start with Jason.
Jonathan, how's it going, bro? Yeah, you had a good game today, man. Scored from all three levels. You had some playmaking, obviously, with 4 assists. Is that what you're trying to show scouts you're capable of? Just your all-around game, and you're more than just a great athlete?
For sure, that's what I was trying to do. And just one thing I think I just gotta add on, just be consistent on my defense. There were some plays I was letting go, and everybody on the team trusted on me on playing defense, but there's some game I was being lazy, but that's the little stuff that I got covered.
Question from Brian next.
Hey, Jonathan. I just want to know, what does this mean? What does this mean for you personally? And you have family watching back home. Like, what does it feel like to have your first win?
It felt great, especially heading with the team. It feels great. Like, this is what everybody wanted. All of us young guys on the team first game as professional. Really excited and happy to just win this game, man. I know for sure back home, the family who's watching the game, I know they're proud of me.
Question from Cody.
Hey, Jonathan. Going up against a couple of guys from the Warriors and Jeremy Lin, of course, with guys with NBA experience, how did you feel like you played to that competition of those guys?
I feel like I played good, but I didn't play to my base. I didn't give it all that I have in me. But just come there and win a game with my teammates, that just feels great.
Go to Jonathan with the next question.
All right, Jonathan, thank you so much for your time. You were easily the standout performer amongst the young guys today. Like your poise and your assists were fantastic today. Is that something that you really wanted to showcase? Because obviously you're a great defender and you're a great athlete. So is that something you really wanted to show off today?
I really wanted just to come out here and just show up everything that I got and just be patient with the game, let the game come to me. And that's the thing I was trying to really work on and just execute all the plays that coach tell me to do.
Thanks so much for your time and great game.
Question from Tom.
Jonathan, great game today. How much did the veterans help you, the veteran point guards and Jarrett, Jack, and Bobby Brown really help you guys out there?
I'll go with J. Jack first. I think on the beginning of the game, I wasn't patient with my game. And so for him to just come out to me because he watched me how I was playing and he told me to just be patient and just slow my game down. And that's how I figured out everything. And on the defensive side, I had Amir back there talking to me every time and he helped me a couple plays.
Question from Dakota.
Hey, Jonathan. One of the things I noticed, and I think a lot of people noticed about you tonight, is your work as a playmaker when it came to making good passes, whether it's in the pinch post, running in transition. Moving forward over the rest of the season, is that one of the biggest skills that you want to show NBA teams?
That's pretty much what I want to show and just come and execute and just I would like every time I'm not gonna be on the ball and just stay away from the ball and just be ready to attack whenever I get the ball and just be patient with my game.
Any other questions for Jonathan? All right, thanks everybody.
How did you feel about your game so far today?
I felt great. I know it's crazy to hear this, but physically, man, this is the best I've ever felt as a professional. Even after 2 gruesome knee injuries, ankle surgery, and all that stuff, man, I feel very, very much springy, very much myself. Able to get up and down the court. I must say, this is the very first game I've ever played. Probably, I didn't have an assist, which I'm still having a tough time trying to process. But all in all, I'm glad we got the W.
When you shoot like that, you don't need assists. Thanks for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
Go to Brian next.
Hey, Jarrett, can you talk about the play of your young teammate today? And what did you tell them coming into the game, and how do you think they performed?
Well, all of them, honestly. I know for a few of them, this is their first time playing on national TV, playing in front of a huge audience, even though we didn't have one particularly in person. Just allowing the game organically to come to you, not forcing it. And just really like I said before, just letting the game come to you. That's the big thing. A lot of the time, a lot of young guys, they like to press, and everybody wants to play great. I totally understand that. But if you're aggressive, you assess the situation. If it's not there for you, make a play for somebody else. Being selfless and not selfish. I think that's kind of my thing. And everything you want out of this whole thing right here, man, it'll come to fruition.
Question from Dakota.
Hey, Jerry. Kind of going off what Jonathan said, but as somebody that watched you play with Sioux Falls during the 2019 and 20 season, where you were solid, but you didn't look as, I guess, lively as you did today. What did you do during the extended offseason that led to the great performance that you had against Santa Cruz?
Man, I got my butt in the gym as best as I could. that kind of COVID kind of slowed down that process. But fortunately, I was able to, have some tools at the house that I can still maintain my regimen. And went to this place called Adapt Athletics, and they got me in prime condition. So I was able to kind of hit the ground running and be ready at a moment's notice when I got the phone call to come out here. And glad I was able to put on a pretty solid performance.
Question from Jason.
Hey, Jared, what's going on, man?
Not too much.
Do you still feel like you can contribute to an NBA team? And is that your goal for coming out here, to try to get back to the league and, help a team at that level as well?
Nah, I definitely believe that I do. I mean, like I said, this is the best I've ever felt physically, which I think is translating into my play. Getting up higher on my jump shot, knocking down shots at a high clip, and just being able to be aggressive. I thought out there, man, I felt very, very, very lively. And that's my whole reason for being down here, helping these young guys, and then also coming out to potentially represent myself, and hopefully I can make a situation where I catch somebody or a team's eye, and we'll see what happens after that.
Appreciate you, bro.
No problem.
Question from Tom.
Jared, 2 big shots at the end of the game. Was anything drawn up for you, or your instincts just took over?
One was pretty much an isolation. If I had something, kind of looked to be aggressive, but if I didn't, it was going to turn into a dribble weave situation. But thought I had a pretty good look and was able to knock it down. And then the last play with the pick and roll, I thought we were kind of playing a little haywire, not playing deep enough into the clock, trying to minimize the amount of possessions left in the game. So I looked at my other veteran compadre, Amir, and we said we're going to take this thing down to about 7-8 seconds. And luckily, I was able to knock down the shot, put them in a difficult situation where we made it a 2-possession ball game, and was able to walk out of there with the win.
Question from Jordan.
Hey, Jared. Coach talked a little bit about how he wanted Knicks to be in the lineup with you, and how you've helped him, and just with your leadership and your ability, just all your experience. Can you just talk a little bit about that? And then also just, looking at your body, you talk about how you've been lively. You look very lean. Did you change your diet too as well? Like, has that been a thing that you've been implementing too?
Man, it's crazy that you mentioned that. First, let me talk about Dacian. Very, very smart kid. The way he sees plays, especially at 18 years old, is something I haven't seen in a lot of young players. He has the size, the build to be able to see over the defense in certain instances. But yeah, just encouraging him to be aggressive. When I came in, he kind of deferred to me to be the point guard, and I was like, "Look, man, we can kind of do this by committee. I know what you're here for, to establish yourself and kind of, move up on this radar as far as this thing is concerned." And I thought he did a hell of a job controlling the game today. But as far into your second question, yeah, switched up my diet, switched up some of my eating habits, some of my other habits as well, and it's paying dividends. I try not to stop learning, just period, basketball or, other stuff going with it. And I've learned about the nutrition value of things and trying to really attack it. I looked at this summer and I said, man, I want to see how really good I could be from all angles, from working countlessly and tirelessly in the gym, but then also when I'm away from it, doing the other things that's going to contribute to my game growing as well. So eating right, getting rest, and doing everything to try to have a positive effect on my body.
Cody with the next question.
Hey, Jared, appreciate your time today. Coach told us a little while ago that, from his conversations, that there's going to be some players that are really going to go after the young guys, Jalen, Jonathan, all these guys. And, as one of the leaders on the team, what's kind of your message to those guys on how to handle those situations as a player yourself who has, gone through that before?
It's funny you mentioned that. I was just talking to Jalen. I said, man, the very first play they went at you, huh? He said, man, unbelievable. He cut right across my face. I was a little surprised. I said, look, man, I'm going to tell you the one thing that in this league, what people would do all the time. If they're looking around for someone, let's go at the rookie. Let's see if the rookie's ready to play, ready for this matchup. And those are the things that they're going to really have to understand, especially in these scenarios. A lot of these guys feel like the jobs that they want, the jobs that they're fighting for, these kids are kind of given those opportunities, and they want to come out here as best they can and compete and alongside you guys, and they're trying to showcase themselves. As much as people coming to watch you, they think there's people coming to watch them as well. So, being ready to compete, being prepared, and understanding the opportunity at hand.
We'll take one final question from Christos.
Hello, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
How do you believe this win and the way that you want to tonight is an example about the continue of the season? And what is the potential of this team?
The potential of this team, man. Every day, I think we're growing. We have some very, very young guys, and I remember what it was like to be 18. Hitting the learning curve at the pace that I was, and it wasn't the professional ranks. So this is a lot more stuff they really have to digest. And I think that's where people like myself come into play, Bobby, Amir, where we can kind of help them and talk to them and guide them and know that, they're learning, but just slow down, so you won't have to be overwhelmed and you can kind of process the information that's being thrown at you, and then you can apply it in game situations. So as long as we keep growing, working hard, and everybody's open to learn and be patient. That's the other thing. You have to have a certain level of patience, but you also have to go out there and execute, because nobody wants to be telling somebody something 7, 8, 9 times. You know what I mean? So I think we have a pretty good ceiling as far as this thing is concerned, but they have to know these games come in bunches, and we're going to have to be prepared to take people's best shot.
All right, thanks everybody. This recording will be available on Media Central and the Content Network shortly.
Thank y'all for having me, man. Appreciate it.